Hi there. I want to talk to you today about two questions that I get the most from healthcare providers. Whether you're in private practice or you're in a healthcare business, these are the two things that everybody wants to know. One is, how do I get more followers? And two is, how do I get more engagement? Right? Because once you have the followers, you want to make sure they see it. And how do you get those followers in the first place? So a couple things. The first is that I want you to ask yourself, why do I need followers? So if you are a local practice serving people in your community, you actually don't need thousands of followers. And yes, your competition might have that, but I've been doing social media marketing since 2007. And I can tell you that back then, all you had to do was slap up a page, put up a flyer in your office, and people came in droves and followed your page. So if you've gotten started later in the last few years, yes, it's much harder to get followers. It's just a numbers game. There are so many more people on social media today and creating content today. And so if you are getting started, it is harder to get followers. Now, don't be disheartened, because if you are a private practice provider or a healthcare clinic or a company with a few facilities in different locations, you do not need thousands of followers to fill up your appointment books or to fill up your beds or whatever it is that you're trying to fill up. Because all you need is a strong, engaged group of people in your location to be able to find you. In addition to that, there are a lot of people with healthcare who will look you up on social media, whatever channel they are on. So Instagram, Facebook, maybe LinkedIn, but more so Instagram and Facebook. And they will look you up there just to check you out. So maybe they've heard of you and they're looking you up there the way that they would do for Google. This is especially true if you're a therapist. So therapists, you're not going to get a ton of followers. People are not going to necessarily engage with your content, but they're looking to see what it's like to work with you, what it's like to know, like, trust you, and they want to get to know you. So you don't need tons of followers, but you do need enough to show that you're open for business. Okay, so rest assured, if you're getting started, do not drive yourself crazy. Now, just a few tips, because I know you do want some followers, are a couple things like this. Find people in your location who your audience might be following. So let's say you are a pediatrician and you serve parents in the Boulder, Colorado area. So I'm a big fan of Colorado. I live in Chicago, but I wish I lived in Colorado, so I use that as my example all the time. So let's say you live there. You could find a place that moms are hanging out and following in your area. So maybe there's a kids play space that moms are following. Maybe there are other pediatric practitioners in your area. So a pediatric dentist who's more established than you can follow their followers. Let's say there's a really popular kids clothing shop or a kids resale shop. Places like that, you can follow those local parents, and then they will get an indication that you follow them and they will follow you back. This works more on Instagram. On Facebook, it's actually pretty hard to get followers without paying. Facebook is a pay-to-play space. So I still recommend that you get on there. I recommend that if you have some ad dollars, you spend it there, but if not, that's okay. Just promote that you're there, that you encourage people to follow you. You could run a contest, like things like that, to make it a little more interesting. It's definitely still a lot easier to get followers on Instagram. Use things like using the name of your town and your city. You can use that as a hashtag, and you can put that in your bio, both on Facebook and Instagram, and that's going to help you get followers. But unless you're really trying to reach a very broad audience, like with workshops or with a course or something like that, you really do not need a ton of followers. All right, now the second question I always get is, how do you get more engagement? Now, it's the same thing. You used to be able to slap up any old photo in your practice, someone's birthday, whatever. You put up a quote, people would like it. If they followed you, they would like your posts. It's just not true anymore. They might like what you have to say, but they're simply not seeing it. Because unless people are engaging with your content other people are not going to see it in the first place. So it's a numbers game. Now, a couple things that you can do to increase your engagement. One, like I said, rest assured, you don't need a ton of engagement. If you are a therapist, a PT, an OT, an SLP, you really don't need a ton of engagement. You need people to just be able to find you, look you up, see what it's like to know, like, and trust you and work with you. But obviously, we all are spending time on this, so we do want some engagement. All right, couple tips. Now, I am a journalist by training. I'm a writer. So take what journalists do and put it in practice for all of your content. So the opening line, when someone looks at your post, all they're going to see are 2 to 3 lines depending on which channel you're on. So for that opening line, you want to put something that's attention grabbing. So you might want to use some emojis on either side of it. You want to maybe use all caps, like, hey parents, does this ever happen to you? You want to invoke curiosity. So start with a question, start with an attention grabbing sort of headline, and think of those first few words as your headline. From there, you want to break up the content into small chunks. So 2 to 3 lines max. Sometimes just one word can be a paragraph on social media. So 2 to 3 lines max. You can experiment with longer captions, shorter captions. Definitely research is showing that longer captions are performing better in 2021. But see what works specifically for your audience by trying a little bit of both. So use an attention-grabbing headline, post your content in chunks so that it's easy to scan with the eyes, use emojis for bullet points, and always use a call to action at the end. Something like, give me a yes if this resonates or if this is something that you've experienced, or what's your favorite example of X, whatever you are talking about. Now, in addition to that, you're going to obviously want an interesting image or a moving image that you make in Canva or a video. And those are some things that are going to help you. So number one, keep in mind, why do you need followers and engagement in the first place? It might be that you don't need a ton, and so you can relax. Keep in mind that it's not you. If you're not getting a ton, it's probably more likely that you got started later, you don't have as big a following. Keep in mind that you can get more followers by following people and who you want to be in your audience and then engaging with them and leaving comments on their posts, liking their posts. They'll start to get notifications that you are engaging with them. And then keep in mind how to write a great post. Start with an attention-grabbing headline, break your content up into bullet points, and use break your content into paragraphs and use emojis as bullet points, and always follow up with a call to action, encouraging people to comment. So I hope that helped you. Reach out if you have any questions. I'm Wendy Margolin. I do healthcare content marketing to help you grow your practice or your healthcare business with emails, blogs, and social media. Bye.